This is the Jim and Terry Show. I'm one of your hosts, Terry, and beside me in the Hobbit Hole studio is...
Jim, the other host.
No Alex Jones voice, Jim?
No, yeah, I believe.
No vitamins to sell? No supplements? No survival kit? Because goodness knows...
all these pencils.
The pencils. I do like pencils, and I suggested an edible eraser.
An edible eraser, I like that, yeah.
All right, we're going to catch up with some little loose ends here on this podcast. And I'm going to start with the notion of, like, is it April showers, in like a lion, out like a lamb or something? Do you remember?
Yeah, it's March. It's
March.
March winds. If it comes in like a lamb, goes out like a lion. If it comes in like a lion, goes out like a lamb. I think you want it to come in like a lion so that it's milder and gentler weather at the end of March.
Well, let's use that as an analogy for the Durham report, which the Republicans had hoped would come in like a lion and go out like a bigger lion.
But they ended up all lying.
They were all lying, and it went with a whimper. And I told you about a wager I had, and this was with a sibling of mine, where I said I would take my T-shirt and cut it into little bite-sized morsels and grill it on my barbecue until my entire shirt was eaten, with the notion that I would eat my shirt if anything came of this Durham report. And remember, the promises of the GOP were great big piles of guilt, with barges of Democrats being rounded up and held at Guantanamo Bay, with notions of Hillary Clinton finally being found guilty of something, and she's going to pay by going to jail. And nothing.
So what did your sibling have to do when they lost?
Well, that's the funny thing about people who believe strange things like conspiracy theories and things that are not grounded in reality or fact. They don't offer anything in return because they're afraid they might be wrong. I was not afraid of being wrong. Hence, my ability. I would have chosen a little smaller shirt, maybe a doll-sized shirt. Yeah. Cut it into little tiny things that I could actually put in a digestible hamburger. And I told him that it would be several barbecues. It would not be just one fell swoop of eating my shirt.
And you could put it sort of like lettuce on a hamburger.
Yeah, so I was going to try to make it palatable, but I thought, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and make this wager. And here it is, 2 years later now. It's longer than the Mueller investigation, cost more than the Mueller investigation, and has one charged to a lawyer who misrepresented a detail on a FISA renewal warrant.
That's it?
That's it.
And so there isn't baby-eating tarantula aliens that are just out to get Trump?
No. Mind you, the written report has not been published, and I haven't read it. You do know I read the Mueller report all...
yeah.
I forget, 400 and some odd pages of that thing.
Makes me glad I can't read.
But I told you then that there is enough in the Mueller report that Trump should be very afraid, and the Republicans should be afraid of not impeaching Trump. They didn't impeach Trump. The 10 counts of obstruction that Mueller outlined should have been followed. That's still in the works. That's a criminal side. That's criminal charges. The Department of Justice. Now, we know that civil stuff is going on. But my point in all of this is simply to say, in with the hopes of a lion with ferocious teeth and snarling and growling and salivating and drooling over the raw red meat of the MAGA world base and the conspiracy theories of QAnon. And out with a, wow, how many charges did Mueller get? I think there were 40 some odd charges, 16 of which were Russian entities, charged and indicted. Some of them, like Manafort, like Cohen, found guilty.
Who's the general? Was he a part of that?
General Flynn, yes, and Roger Stone.
Yes.
All convicted by courts of their peers, charged, indicted, tried, found guilty, and pardoned by Trump.
But not individual one wasn't.
Oh, good point you raised there. Individual one, Michael Cohen.
But individual one, just because he hasn't been, doesn't mean he won't be.
Exactly. There we go. So we use the term, it's a very precise legal term, the other shoe has yet to fall.
Yes. That's
Very
a real
precise legal
term. Yes.
All right.
Well,
so
you heard the legal term of the appeal court judge or whatever said, or the master judge said, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
very precise legal
Yes.
language.
Yes.
I love it.
Really
Yes.
legal terms.
Legal terms. Oh, well, there we go. So that's my first point, was that the Durham report has come and gone. Nobody even noticed we did notice it's coming. There were always the threats and drooling that we're going to get Hillary Clinton and those blood-eating, baby-sucking Democrats.
Reptilians, Terry.
Reptilians with the lizard tongues, and not one. All right. And so I contrast that with Mueller, whose report I did read, but I have yet to read Durham. Anyway, let's move on.
Have they found any pedophilia pizzerias?
No.
Okay.
I think is it Comet Pizza is still in business? Well, just to follow up with that report, I would like to say that Barr is guilty of obstruction. So Bill Barr needs to be charged. And the GOP keeping on reinforcing these Russian talking points. I think all of them who voted to overturn the election in 2020, they should all be dropped from the Congress, and you hold elections in every single one of them. That's my feeling. That's the Jim and Terry show. Let's move on to things out of this world, as if the GOP was not already out of this world and diluted. But let's go on to SpaceX and the latest.
Well, I think we have to start with the SLS, the Artemis program, which I think we talked this morning, did we not, that they finally plugged the leak.
Successful filling.
And I don't trust that. And there's another part of the problem with this 10.5. No, actually, in reality, it's up to 40 billion. But I think you're hearing all kinds of figures from this particular rocket's cost 25 billion plus, and it's 4 point whatever billion every launch, and it's never launched. So now they may have to roll it back if they can't get approval to launch.
In September?
No, what they got, there's a problem. The battery that runs the automatic destruct mode in the rocket, that's when a rocket goes up, it veers off course, and they got to blow it up. That battery only has like 29 days in it or something. Excuse me. The next launch is past that mark.
Oh.
So they have to get whoever's in charge to say, excuse me, let's go with it. Take our chances. So there's a real big chance that they keep telling us these launch marks, and it should be the September 27th. And yes, I want it to go up, and I want it to be successful.
And I want it to
wanna
go
watch.
around the moon.
And I want it to go around the moon. I want it to do all of the absolute
The mission objectives.
backwards looking stuff it's meant to do. I want that to be successful. But if this battery, they may just roll it right back, and we're not going to see it until into the next year. Meanwhile, SpaceX on a super heavy launch system, it fired off 7 of its Raptor engines in a what do you call that test?
Static fire.
Static fire. And the eruption was unbelievable of this thing. And the guys that are there broadcasting, they're just going, I can't imagine 33 of these engines going off at the same time. Should be amazing. So we saw that. I saw today on a video of in the Starship, what goes on top of the Super Heavy, and these are gigantic pieces of machinery. They were putting in the Pez dispenser in the next Starship. They're putting in the Pez dispenser, which just pops out the satellites. This is an incredible evolution of space delivery. And
those are over 1 ton each, those satellites.
yeah, well over 1 ton.
And
Terry.
they go as Pez's into space.
Yeah. They're at least 1.5. They may be 2.5. I don't know. They're bigger than the other ones,
Yes.
which are more heavier than you think. You see them in the videos,
Yeah,
and
they
you go,
look
they look like
tiny.
little teeny light things.
Yeah.
No, they're a lot of weight behind them. So, anyways, they're planning this, and it looks like SpaceX is really making everything else look redundant. Like just what a waste of life. And once this ship, I guess, takes off, this SLS, not the Starship, the SLS, and orbits the moon, is it we have to wait for them to build another ship, don't we?
Yeah.
What's that going to be, 2 years?
10.
Would you trust that it's okay?
No, I wouldn't.
All right.
A lot of things we don't trust on the Jim and Terry Show. I'm Terry.
I'm Jim.
Together, we're still two retired guys talking about a whole bunch of stuff.